Alright, you lot. They're making you pay 70 quid to test their broken ass games. Not play them, not enjoy them, not even get them early, but test them. Your QA department now. Except you don't get a wage, you get privilege of buying our finished product and being told it's exclusive access. Games like Call of Duty throw closed beta stickers on what's just full bloody games sat one patch away from release, and mugs still lap it up like it's golden gravy. Joke is, you're footing bill for their unfinished mess while they swim in billions. Beta is supposed to mean rough edges, unfinished bits, devs actively listening, and patches dropping thick and fast while they shape final thing. But what do we get now? Get polished trailers, pre-order bonuses, countdown timer, and then this so-called closed beta that's less a test and more a demo with serial numbers filed off. Call of Duty is prime offender. Less than a month before release, they chuck you a beta that is essentially finished build. No room to change out, no real feedback being listened to, just a last chance to stir up hype and rake in pre-orders. They call it early access. I call it fucking daylight robbery. And here's kicker, bugs that are glaringly obvious don't get fixed in that so-called beta. They don't even get fixed months into the game's lifecycle. Black Ops 6 right now is still carrying bugs from Season 1, from Season bloody 2. Do they fix them? No, they leave them sat there like graffiti on a bus stop until the next gaming cycle is ready. And then they suddenly drop a monster patch for Olden. Not cause they care, but cause they know a polished older game makes you nostalgic and more likely to buy a new one. It's a pattern they've been running for years, and gamers keep lining up for it like it's fish and chips on a Friday night. And Ubisoft aren't off hook either. They've turned releasing broken games into bloody sport. Assassin's Creed Unity launched looking like nightmare fuel. Watch Dogs promised world and delivered a puddle, and yet they flogged them at full retail price. These weren't finished games, they were glorified public betas, and we were paying to suffer. You buy a Ubisoft game at launch, you're basically volunteering to be the guinea pig. Except guinea pigs get food and a wheel to run on. You just get a broken game and a patch note 6 months later that says, fix various issues. Various issues meaning things you screamed about last year that they finally decided to fix cause next title is about to drop. It's marketing dressed as testing. They've turned QA into a cash grab, and instead of paying testers, they're charging you 70 quid to do the job. In fact, people are still calling it a beta, just shows how deep rot's gone. Biggest lie in all this is how they're dressed up as some golden ticket. Exclusive access, they call it, as if you've been invited behind velvet rope. Bollocks. You've been conned. They've sold you exact same product that's about to launch and told you it's special. That's not privilege, that's paying extra to stand in a queue that leads to the same door everyone else is about to walk through for free. And when people complain about state at game, about maps being stale or recycled, what did devs say? I can't find it anymore, but I remember seeing one developer respond to a player asking where creativity had gone, saying, I suppose you also expect to get those maps for free. That's their mindset, not we hear you, we'll do better, but shut up and pay us more. And this is while Call of Duty rakes in billions every single year. That's billions on top of covering wages, servers, marketing, everything. That's pure profit. And yet when it comes to actual content, they're squeezing it out like toothpaste from a crusty old tube. With spark, imagination, art, nowhere. Because creativity don't pay a quarterly bonus. You get reskinned maps, recycled weapons, and a battle pass designed like a bloody slot machine. And you're expected to clap like a seal while they toss you scraps. It's not that money ain't there, money is absolutely there. It's that will to use it on actual development isn't. They've got creativity or a rusty spoon, and you can't cut new ideas with a spoon, you can only scrape. And scraping is all these companies are doing. Scraping your pockets, scraping your patience, scraping the last bit of goodwill left in community, and telling you to be grateful for it. Sad part is, some gamers know this and walk away. The seats scam for what it is, and they keep the wallet shut. They don't pre-order, they don't fall for founders packs, they don't buy in until the game proves itself. But rest, they're blinded by flashing lights, trailers, influencer hype, dopamine in a bottle, and they'll pay whatever it costs just to get early hit, and publishers know it. They've weaponised FOMO like a bloody drug dealer dangling first taste for free, then charging triple for rest. You can see its cycle play out every year. Call of Duty drops same marketing beats, same promises, same closed beta carrot, and people queue up again like clockwork. Ubisoft does the same. EA does the same. Whole industry does it now. People line up like sheep waiting to be sheared, bleating about how this year will be different, how this and will fix problems, how this is game that will bring back magic. And it never is. It's same grift, recycled, reheated, sold again with shinier package. This ain't gaming anymore, it's conditioning. They've trained a generation of players to believe pain to suffer is normal, that broken launch is acceptable. unthinkable that being charged for early access is some kind of honour instead of a slap in face. And until enough people wake hell up and say, no, it's only going to get worse. Here's the thing, not all early access is dirty. There are games that have done it right, and I'll give credit where it's due. Fortnite's Saved World is one of them. I bought into that early access, and even then, it felt polished. It felt like a real game. When it fully released, I didn't feel mugged. Felt like I'd supported something worth my time. That's difference. That's what real early access is supposed to be. Game already solid at its core that just needs player feedback to take it further. And when you look at indie scene, that's where you see genuine early access done properly. Small teams who can't afford a global QA squad, who don't have thousands of test rigs scattered across every continent, who need players to push the game to the limit. They throw it on Steam, they ask for your honest opinions, and more often than not, they deliver. Some charge, sure, but they'll hand you full game at launch, plus a few extras as a thank you for being part of the process. That's honest, that's fair, that's what this whole concept should have been from start. But then you look back at AAA publishers, and they've got no excuse. They've got money pouring out of their ears. They've got teams bigger than entire indie scene combined. And still they shove unfinished builds down your throat with pre-order tag. That's not testing. They aren't asking for help. They're extorting you and your wallet, while getting your broken bits and promising to fix it later. Indies need support. AAA has no excuse. And if you can't tell the difference between two, then you're exactly the target they're aiming to bleed dry. It's robbing from poor to feed rich. That's all this scam really is. They're not struggling, they're not desperate, they're not trying to survive on scraps. They're raking in record profits every single year. And instead of reinvesting that money into building better games that actually work on launch day, they've figured out they can get away with charging players to do the job their QA departments used to handle. It's not innovation, it's not evolution, it's just another revenue stream slapped on top of pile. And worst part is, it's not even hidden anymore. They brag about it. Closed beta access, early access weekend, Founders Edition. They dress it up with shiny marketing words. But all it really means is, pay us now and we'll let you suffer a little earlier than everyone else. They've taken what should have been a quality assurance process and turned it into a sales pitch. And gamers are lining up to hand over the cash for privilege of being unpaid workers. Betas and early access was supposed to be about building better games. Now they're about building bigger bank accounts. AAA publishers don't care if game works, they care if you've already bought it. Because once you've paid, they've won. And until enough players stop funding this daylight robbery, industry will keep running the same scam on repeat. So next time you see closed beta slapped on a pre-order, remember you're not being given early access. You're being handed a mop and told to clean up after a company that's already pocketed your cash. You're not a tester, you're not a supporter, you're Mark. And until more gamers stop playing along, this cycle of broken launches and paid betas will keep grinding on. Because why would they fix it when it makes them billions? Join Discord, follow our X, links are in the description. Consider a channel membership if you want to keep madness going without ads and sponsors whispering in my ear. Smash like, hit subscribe, drop your comments and questions below, and tell me which beta mugged you hardest. And I'll see you next time, you magnificent.